One of the really fun things I've been using ChatGPT for is to actually generate a language within my book series. And I think of other authors who've done that and other books that have done that. You take Lord of the Rings, for example. And I knew for myself, I really wanted a language that was rooted in real history. It felt real. But to even begin thinking about creating a language, I didn't know where to start. And then it occurred to me, I can have ChatGPT help me. So let me show you how I did this. And it's slowly evolving over time, which is cool. Because with ChatGPT, you can evolve the algorithm. If we look at it, I started with saying, you're going to help me craft a language for my sci-fi novel. The language should have Latin roots. It's an alien language over 200,000 years old. The language should feel more soft, like Elvish or Italian or French. It would not feel harsh like Russian. The words should feel elegant and yet simple, and this would be a language that inspired the Greek language. Let's start with the name for this language. It was created by the Infinity, the founders of the galaxy. They were led by Alaris, the supreme ruler. Let's come up with some names for the language. And so I began to build this language and what it was called. And then as I kind of went through, so it gave me eventually some names, and I found Lumen Celesti, and I thought that was really cool. And then we eventually named it Lumen Celesti. It's Light of the Celestials. And it sort of became the language and the foundation of the language I'm using in this book. And the characters often refer back to this language. And so as we progressed, I began to actually like the way Nordic sounded, and it kind of added an interesting twist. So at one point, I asked it to introduce this twist to this fictional language and add some Nordic aspect and allow it to be the strongest. And that way it sort of had a Viking roots. And I thought that was kind of cool. I like the way the sound of the Viking language is. I like Nordic. It's got just an interesting feel to it. So taking sort of the base and then adding Nordic, it began to give me new words for things I had named before. One of the great things too was like helping generate character names of these ancient gods that our characters sort of encounter. And so, for example, I came across one where I said, hey, I need the name of a great protector, a keeper of the most sacred spirits of the past. And the idea here is I wanted it to be something that was mysterious, sort of a cross between Heimdall and maybe a Dementor from Harry Potter. And so I sort of began to create this character. And what was cool is taking the foundation that I laid and adding the Nordic roots to it. I began to craft these names out of the description that I gave it. And so taking this sort of Lumen Celesti's Latin, Italian, Nordic origins, and sort of keeping those ideas in mind, it began to give me a set of names for this character. As I scrolled through, I realized I actually named him Aris in the book in past writing. So I actually wanted that to fit into this language. And so it said, sure, no problem. Let me help fit this into Lumen Celesti. And so then it began to give me names based on Lumen Celesti language, but also using a name that I really liked. And so it gave me a list of 6 different names. And then I sort of had some fun with it. I said, well, how about a god's name if he's the god of ice cream? So then it gave me a bunch of names for a god of ice cream. I thought that was fun too. But it's a really cool way to utilize ChatGPT to do something really complex and something that's makes your book unique or different, right? I mean, creating a whole new language is really complex. At some point, ChatGPT was like, hey, creating a new language is really complex. So, as we go, we're going to refine it. But that's the cool part is you're able to refine this as you go. It is able to be rooted in real Latin, real Italian, real Nordic, and you're actually creating words that would probably be this way if Lumen Celesti existed. So this is a great tool. Try using it. Your prompts are really important, and how you prompt things are going to matter. But you can start forming a whole language using ChatGPT without needing an entire library of research. You just need ChatGPT and that's it. So anyway, have fun with that. We'll see how it goes for me and how this language develops over time.